Yes, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Tales of Heroes. I am your host, Bridger. With me, of course, is my honorably honest and on-time co-host, Vittensby. Welcome to the program.
It's good to be here. This week we got a great match on Montherme. It's actually a 1,000-point VP, so I wonder how this one's going to end, if it's on VP or Annihilation. It's a little bit different than what we're used to, so it should be pretty good. Plus, it's the first time we feature this map.
That was one thing I was looking for. Is we've got a ton of 1v1s that we got under our belt. We've done almost all the 2v2 maps now, I think, except for Via River, which I will never touch with a 10-foot pole. And so I decided we need to get some 3v3 maps up-ons, as it were. And this one was the one that came to the top on the submission. So this one was submitted by Mardagun. And he is one of the Axis in this game. He'll be located, let me see here, the top section of the map. And with him is N-Dog and Belgium Roffelmaker. And on the Allied side here, we'll find out who we have. E-Rock, KP, and Scampy over on the Allied side. So let's take a quick look at this map before we get started and check it out. The Allies on the south here, you can see both sides have two HQs and two players on the northern section of the map, north of this river, or west if you prefer, and they each have one player that is south of this river. And the southern section of the map is probably going to be the most important because you got two victory points very close to each other, so that's going to be very important to hold both of those, and one side can help the other. Of course, these bridges that are right here can be destroyed and repaired. So that might be something that you have to take into account on this map. I think on this map, more than any other except for Via River, destroying bridges is actually a cool and very interesting feature. The other important point is the victory point up at the north here, and that is very difficult to contest. There's not a lot of cover. When I'm playing on this map, if I'm playing on the north, a lot of the times I'll actually build machine gun nests as the Allies even, because it just gives you such a perfect arc. You can cover this whole section here. And the enemy would really have to come around from behind through this graveyard or something if he wants to get at you. So this is one of the few maps where I'd actually use the machine gun nest on a consistent basis, because this northern section is just so thin that you can use one machine gun to guard the whole thing early in the game. So let me see what else we got. Mostly, actually all low points in this map. There's not a single medium or high point anywhere, which is interesting.
It's funny that the Bridger says one thing, and I actually think the opposite. I actually think that the southern portion of the map is the least important on this map, and that a hard push from both players in the north straight through the upper middle of the map can actually secure you quite a bit of resources, especially if they go for kind of a more standard approach, which would be for the middle player to go into the kind of the building in the middle near the VP, and the northern player to go for the northern VP area. If you could, both players will just push up somewhere. The north player goes for the north victory point, and the middle player goes for that plus, what is it, +5 in the center. That's what I usually like to do on this one. The thing that always struck me weird about Montherme was that the Allies, or the people that start out on the west part of the map, only really have one access point. There's this huge ramp that pretty much kind of cuts off the whole map to them, and they have to go through that little crack in the bushes in the little forest up there. And that makes for that would be one of the major objectives, is to get an MG there as Axis. It's a good weapon support center map. The bridges are destructible, like Bridger said, and I always thought it was a little bit Axis biased, just because they can get bikes and MGs from the same building as well as snipers. But we'll see how this one plays out. South's usually a rush to the center building, so you can secure that first and preserve their side the longest.
Yep, I hear you. So let's get this party started. We're at the 5-second mark here, if you're following us on the replays, and let us get going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Game on. So I'll be watching the Allies, it looks like here. Are you on the Allies too?
No, yeah, I'm on the Allies.
Okay, let me switch over to Axis then real quick.
Alright.
Pause it for 3 seconds and then go, and then we'll be synced up again here. So what do we have for the Allies start?
Well, in the south we have Weapon Support Center, which, in my opinion, in my experience, that's probably the best start that the Allies can have in the south, just because it's pretty much an MG-friendly position, and it's a race to that center big building in the south. And then the middle player is also going Weapon Support Center, another not bad choice. And then we have Barracks in the north, which is actually a pretty smart start for the Allies. That's pretty much what my team would usually use on this map.
All right, so we've got our Wehrmacht quarters up for all three players, rather, and a quick double Pioneer run to the north, and let's see if they get that. I mean, I tend to agree. What you were talking about earlier is this map, you know, most of the resources are located in this northern section, north of the river. So controlling the resources, especially on a 1,000 victory point game, is going to be very important because, you know, you can afford to ignore 2 victory points for a good chunk of the game because if you get the fuel and munitions advantage, then you can push back and take it after that. But we'll see what happens. We got an MG coming out here. We've got an MG coming out at the middle. Here's a problem. Whenever, this is something I have to deal with too as well, if you're building something from your first building, always give it a rally point that's going to bring it somewhere near where you want it to eventually go, so it's just not sitting there at your building while, you know, you might be microing your engineers or pioneers or whatever, or moving them up or, you know, queuing them where you want them to capture, but always give a rally point by right-clicking on the ground when you have the building selected, just somewhere else, so that it's at least partially on the way from where it wants to go. So let me see here. We've got a big fight in the middle, and it looks like the Allies are going to be the first ones to get their machine gun in the building. Axis a little bit slower here, and that is going to cost them right now, because this building has no blind sides as far as I know.
Yeah, if Axis can't get that MG into that building, they're probably not going to be able to flush it out in time. Yeah, and they're not going to. That's a huge loss so early on. And like I said, it's always a race to that center building, and whoever can get there first tends to win that early engagement and perhaps push up on the fuel. One thing to note is that OPs on those +5 fuels are actually a pretty good strategy. Wow, the Axis opening just got completely annihilated in the north as well as in the south. It didn't get that MG set up in time.
You mean the Allied opening?
No, the Axis opening was completely shut down because they lost the MG in the south. They lost the MG in the north.
Oh, how did they lose the MG in the south? I was just looking at it and I didn't see. No, you're talking about. Oh, I forgot I'm watching Axis here. Wow. Okay, I apologize. I am. Woo. Okay, yes, they did lose the MG in the south. I didn't see them lose the MG in the north though. But we have the first couple of tickets taken down for the Allied side, but they're taking back the north right now, so that's going to change real quick. The Allies do have a good machine gun position in the middle guarding that victory point. They still need somebody to get over there, but actually that middle point's going to be neutral for a while. We got an MG in this building and an MG in that building. So nobody's going to get that middle very quickly, very soon.
Yeah, it tends to be pretty much a stalemate situation around that victory point, and you can double in the south or you can double in the north, usually after you both get MGs there, and just OP that fuel and try to hold off. We do have a mortar. That is one of the early advantages that Allies have on this map. They really have to make good use of their mortars, and Axis has to make good use of their snipers to counter that, otherwise their defensive positions won't hold very long. I'm surprised they didn't, to my knowledge, they didn't pick up that MG that dropped the rifleman, or did they? No, they didn't. That was a big mistake. They should have done that.
The MG in the north?
The MG in the north, yeah.
Well, I can't see that, but I have to take your word for it here. We do have an OP going up on munitions. I wouldn't say... It depends on their strategy. If they're going for a tier 2 type strategy, it's probably a good idea to put an OP on the munitions, as long as like the whole team is going for it. If only one person's going for it, it's usually not worthwhile, but that is not a good place for a sniper. I mean, obviously, the Allied player here isn't paying much attention, but if you've got a sniper, you want to keep it at max range all the time. And another thing is, he took a pot shot at one unit and then attacked the other. Whereas he could have simply annihilated and finished off that last engineer and completely deprived his enemy of the squad. Instead, he attacked the other unit, meaning that both of these units are probably going to get to retreat. This one might actually get killed. There it goes. He should have had both of those.
It seems we have a lot of observation posts going up for Axis, which isn't necessarily a bad idea.
Not on 1,000, no, that's not a bad idea at all.
Yeah.
On a 500, it would be a little bit more iffy, because you don't necessarily have the time to recoup the cost of those.
Exactly. And one thing I don't understand why I don't understand is why the Allied player in the south, knowing how scarce fuel is on this map, decided to go ahead and build a barracks. I have no idea. That probably wasn't the best choice. He has a supply yard up at this point, but that 15 fuel could have easily, that was half the cost of a motor pool at that point, and he does have enough munitions for a quad, and he would have had enough fuel for the motor pool and the quad had he not built that barracks and the rifle squad. But now we have a Jeep.
Chasing a sniper, he's going to get it. There it is. He should have had it earlier, though, because he wasn't microing his Jeep close enough. If you just don't click on the sniper itself, but if you click near the sniper to tell the Jeep to move there, it'll just continually fire at the sniper while it's retreating. But I think he clicked on the sniper, so the Jeep waited until the sniper ran out of, its range, and then it chased it. And when you do that, you're not going to chase it necessarily very quickly.
Both, well, I'm sorry, not both. All players on this side have a weapons support center and a barracks, so I guess they're in it for the long haul and they're sacrificing an early tech. I'm surprised that all three of them went that, but then again, nothing really surprises me with this game anymore, so. I just haven't really seen that much going to... Oh god, Rifle Squad just got slaughtered in the north, and no one has picked up that MG that was dropped pretty much 1 minute or two into the game. Mortar's under attack by a bike, and we have a Rifle Squad coming up to flank the bike. The early MP40s and fast Pumas on this map are pretty much devastating to allies, and that's really what you have to watch out for, because you can't really afford to get bars. It just takes too much fuel. There's really only, 3 main fuel points on this map on each side, so you really only have a plus 15 fuel income, and you just have to be real, you have to conserve that fuel as much as you possibly can. The Allied player does have a forward HQ in the center of the map, which is really good, and down at the south, and that's pretty much going to keep him in this game now that he can build. If the Axis would ever, start to make a push there, he can reinforce immediately. It is quite a long walk on this map.
Yeah, that's why a tier 2 strategy might do decently on this map, because there's a lot of narrow corridors where, a Panzer Shrek on a Jeep, never a good idea. There's a lot of narrow corridors where it would be really nice to put a group of either stormtroopers or grenadiers or something to that effect that would allow you to take out a tank, because it doesn't really have anywhere to go. It either attacks you head on and drives by you, or tries to attack an AT gun behind you or whatever, or it has to turn around and show you it's behind. So
yeah, if you do go tier 2, definitely get the veterancy upgrades. There's really no reason not to.
Nice use of
you will have the fuel for it. Yeah, Axis has the... I think both these teams know exactly what they're doing on this map, and Axis has their MGs in pretty much all the key buildings. The MG in the center got taken out of the building, which was a mistake, but that particular building and then the other building just slightly north of there, which you can see, those are two really key buildings for Axis to have machine guns in.
An army of engineers is taking down that center Axis fuel point, interestingly enough. But actually the Axis have an HQ here as well in the northern middle section of the map. They have a machine gun there guarding just south of the broken church, and they're also reinforcing some squads there to assault the north again, which is good, or to have control of it. I see the Allied one in the south there. That's a very good position as well. The sniper's trying to pick off these guys, and he's going to get chased down if this player plays it right. Oh, but he's going to pull him right into the machine gun again. So that's actually not a very bad move at all. That sniper staying cloaked. A lot of times when you do pick and runs like that with the sniper, you want to go uncloaked so you can run as fast as possible to get away. Because in general, the sniper runs just as fast as regular infantry, so you can stay at max range and just continue to pick them off as they chase you, and hopefully not take too much damage. But that machine gun allows the sniper to take pot shots at those riflemen and just get away every time. And here's, we have a half-track in the north. I don't know what he expects to do with it. He's not upgrading it, it doesn't look like. At least I can't see it right now.
Yeah, we do have bars, so we're not going to have... that's a huge mistake on this map to get bars. There's really too many MG positions, good MG positions for bars. I think quick motor pool from all three players with the raid, and maybe some one player goes for airborne and doesn't get a motor pool and goes for tanks might be one of the stronger strategies.
See, certainly the southern player needs to just, I mean, if he's getting sniped time and time again, just go around here, go around, and hit this machine gun from the back and then chase down the sniper. But he had an ace up his sleeve now. We see there's an armored car here with, I believe, no, we don't have a 50 cal on it yet, but it's still going to kill the sniper. Very nice. Did you see that sniper rifle fly off and spin through the air? Fantastic. I love the physics in this game. So we do have tickets that are at 892 to 987 with a favor of the Allies right now. The Axis are in the purpose of trying to get back this fuel point that's been OP'd. It looks like they're hitting it with a mortar right now, which is good. But if it hits your own guys by falling short, that's usually not good. Which it just did. I'm a psychic. Okay, so we have AT guns coming out, so we definitely see a Tier 2 strategy from these northern players. Let me see. Mard gun is going Tier 2, and it looks like if this mortar is N-Dogs, he's also going Tier 2. And actually, I see a Sturm Armory here and a Kriegsbarrack, so he's backwards teching. He's back teching to Kriegsbarracks after he gets to his Sturm Armory, but he's got a Puma coming out right now, which might not have been the best choice against an M8. Unless he goes for the upgrade, then he can do decent damage.
Pumas are absolutely devastating on this map, and then if you can combine those with, say, Panzerschreck Grenadiers, oh man, or Stormtroopers, Motor Pool really has no chance, and neither does basic infantry. Puma, especially before 1.3, before they increased the fuel cost, was absolutely just downright abusive on this map. For the 25 fuel, it was far too spammable. It's kind of a little front has developed. Montherme isn't one of the more campy maps to me. It does have some fluidity, so to speak, to it, but it can get pretty campy at times.
And now the southern player has been completely closed off from all the resources in this game. He needs to upgrade the gun on that Puma and repair it, and then he has the ability to break out and do whatever he wants.
Or he did. Now there's an AT gun down there.
I see. Well, then it's a little bit too late for
in
that.
green cover, mind you, what we were talking about yesterday.
Now he's losing the +5 that's literally next to his base. This is bad news for him. He's having his HQ attacked. Oh man, this is really bad news. Southern Axis players having a lot of trouble, and Northern Allied players having a ton of trouble. So let's pause it here. I'm going to pause it in 4, 3, 2, 1 at 1336, and we're just going to switch around and look at this map and see what's going on here. We've got an MG nest in the middle for the Allies. That's actually a really nice position because you can't take that out with grenades. You can't take that. I mean, that takes a while to take down. So you're really going to need tanks or a Puma or some kind of decent building killer to take that one down. And whereas the machine gunner in this building, a sniper can take it down, or a mortar could take it down in just a couple of shots, or it could provide smoke, or whatever you need. But a building machine gun is a little bit more survivable overall, gives you some time to respond and deal with whatever threat is attacking that particular building. So the center, I believe, for the next couple of minutes at least, is going to stay strongly in Allied hands here. Even if their mortar looks like they're being attacked, these Volksgrenadiers, they're not really going to be able to do anything against this. If they had...
the Volks had just... someone sent me a private message saying they're Volksgrenadiers, okay? I know they're Volksgrenadiers. I know it's Wehrmacht quarters. I got it. We're going to say Volksgrenadiers because we want to, right, Bridger? But
because we're American, goddammit.
Because they have the assault ability from the Blitzkrieg tree, I noticed. So they had just thrown off 2 grenades, which is what completely fragged that. You see the flamer that's on fire, basically, and then the smoke that's there in the middle. Those are from the assault grenades.
No, I must be a couple of seconds ahead of you. I see the dead bodies, though.
You're at 1336?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm there as well. AT gun versus AT gun in the south. You notice that?
Which south?
By his base.
Oh,
Can you
okay.
see that?
I see the AT gun. Yep, and the other
Yeah,
AT
it's
gun.
firing on the AT gun. That's funny.
And something tells me the 57 Allied millimeter is
Will win.
gonna win with the green cover there.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, so let's analyze the. So the South, obviously, clearly in Allied hands. They've got the ability to attack. Oh, we've also got the M8 is attacking the. Mein ears are ringing. So the South is clearly in Allied hands. Both victory points are clearly in Allied hands. They also have 2 extra fuel points. At this point, I don't know how the Axis are going to come back, but they're going to have to pull something out. The northern player, Mardgan, seems to be doing the best right now because he has pushed far into his enemy's territory. He's got very strong positions set up with a mortar here, machine gun there to cover it from any possible attacks. We've got 2 AT guns, flame engineers, another mortar in green cover. He's got a really nice defensive position set up around this crossroads. So anything coming north to aid the player up here is going to be in big trouble. So he really has a strong ability to respond. I don't see any kind of infantry, though, just general infantry. There's his Volks, upgraded Volks. So he does have the ability to respond if he needs to. We'll see how this goes. I'm going to switch over to the Allies.
And I'm on Axis.
I switched the wrong player. Durr. There we go.
While you do that, I mean, I don't blame the southern player for the predicament that he's in right now. He lost his first MG, he lost the race to the center, and that's exactly what happens. I mean, there's only really 2 points, and then they're at your base, so there's no room for error, really. And it's the same thing with the middle player. If they lose that first engagement, if something goes horribly wrong, then the Allies or Axis, respectively, can push up on the strat point and basically decap the entire north map from there.
Right, because if you look at this main thing, this strategic point, like you said, I think we were talking about this on the audio discussion show, which you might want to check out this week. We talked about all kinds of great stuff, including the most recent news, and we talked about the different tiers in Axis and Allies and what kind of strategy goes best with which company or which doctrine. So that was one of the main topics this week, as well as AT guns were a unit of the week. So check that out. Tales.tsncentral.com, tales.tsncentral.com. But yeah, this strat point at the north basically blocks off everything. If the Allies take this, the Axis get nothing from this whole middle section that they have capped. So let's unpause it here. Let me see. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Unpause. And now it looks like, for the most part... Well, I lost my taskbar. I gotta get that back. There we go. Yeah, this middle is heavily... Oh, we have a firestorm. That's what's coming down here. I'm trying to figure out... I thought it was just mortars, but that is definitely a firestorm from the Axis side. Something I forgot to check out.
That was a bit unexpected.
Right. So we have airborne on one of these players on the Allies. Let me see. If I go to this guy, switch through and find out what you got for different... We got 2 airbornes.
Sure.
And the last one...
So we're paused at, what, 1420-ish?
Yep, 1420. I've got 2 airbornes, and then the third, I don't know. I'm going to stay on him and find out eventually. We've got 2 airbornes on the Axis, or on the Allies, rather, and the third one, I don't even know if he has enough command points to pick a company yet, or he must have picked a passive one. I can't see. This is Scampy in the north. So let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, we have Terra from Mardigan. I think Belgian Riflemaker might have... I don't know what he went, which is interesting. Mardigan has Inspired Assault and Zeal and Firestorm, so he has both options. I wonder if he was going to do some kind of Grenadier tactic with that. Let's see what N-Dog has. And N-Dog has Blitz, so...
Okay.
Might be 2 blitzes,
All
maybe
right.
1 defensive, 1 blitz, 1 terror.
All right, let's unpause it here. 1420 unpausing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Unpause. There we go. Let's get back into the action. We've got Grenadiers in the middle from Mardigan. Yep, he's definitely going Grenadiers.
Forward supply lines.
We have an AT gun and a half-track here in the middle, along with a heavy machine gun team. Its HMG is going to give him some ability to take out any Pumas that Mardigan pushed forward, but I don't know if he's going to be able to do that yet.
It's really interesting to me how both. I'm so not used to doing a 3v3.
Yeah, right?
How all the Allied players got a barracks and a weapon support center, and then all the Axis players got a Krieg barracks and a Sturm armory.
Yeah.
I hardly ever see that. In fact, in a 3v3. I don't know if I can say I've ever seen that, so maybe there are still things about this game that kind of surprise me, but we'll see how that goes. Mardigan, the player in the north, has not got the Sturm armor yet, but I'm assuming he's probably going to do that, so I guess I spoke too soon.
Stormtroopers from Endog popping out here, getting suppressed, unfortunately. That's one of the problems with the Axis infantry, is you have no way to get rid of suppression unless you use for the Fatherland or something. So Stormtroopers don't have that, unlike the Rangers and the Airborne rather.
Yeah.
Again, Endog is having a real problem taking this OP down. How long has he been working to take down this one OP? It's got to be the last 5 minutes. Just get some Flame Engineers, man. Your partner has captured all the munitions points in the north. Why can't you just get one set of Flamers? Seriously.
Or Panzer Shrek does the job. This is nice.
Oh, nice mines by Mardigan in the north. Really, just destroyed engine on that M8 is going to make it so much less useful, even though we have Raid in the north. So that's what this other player must be. Yes, we do have an armor company by Scampy, which is good because he's got a quad, and he's got an M8. Problem is he's had the quad sitting there not doing anything when he should be attacking with it. But unfortunately, you know, he probably would have run into the mine with that, too.
Axis has a huge concentration where that MG was a long time ago, where I was kind of mentioning. Just a little bit north of the center munitions point. They put a forward HQ in there, which is really smart. They have 2 mortars, Grenadiers, half-tracks, 2 AT guns, another Grenadier squad, Flamer Pioneers. I mean, they got pretty much half of their army sitting right there, and they're making small push out from there and taking the fuel. You can probably see where the Flamer NGs are capping, just a little bit north of that is what we're talking about.
Yep. We saw that before on the Axis side, this whole crossroads, just their major location for ownage, as it were. Now let's see if these Flamers are actually going to get it lucky. No, they're capping, so the flamethrower unit is capping. Out of all the units, why did it have to be the flamethrower that was actually doing the capping? That's unfortunate.
Engineers here.
But I believe that was a very unfortunate mortar as well from his own team. Killed 2 of his
guys.
Grenadiers. Did get the Flamer Engineers, though. Cost his opponent not only the engineer cost, but the 50 munitions as well.
Well, so far it seems that in victory points the Axis is losing, but in map control, I don't know. Map control actually looks a bit even.
Yeah.
They're down in the south, up in the north. So.
And since the south has victory points, that's how they're winning right now. That's how the Allies are winning, rather. This is not something you want to do as airborne. I mean, you're getting pounded on by 3 sides now, it looks like. I mean, they did manage to kill the AT gun, but you don't want to just continue to reinforce your units as airborne. It's just so costly to sit there and reinforce an airborne squad. It might have been worthwhile to kill that AT gun, but after that he should have just hit the retreat button rather than the fire up button. It would have given him the extra defense boost.
Another Puma just went down on the bridge.
Oh, really? I see.
Yeah, the wrong player decided to get fast Pumas, or decided to get Pumas. I just don't think that... I don't know, maybe the right player did, because in the south, that's where he really needed it most, but I think they could have consolidated the north a little bit better to have that mobile strike force. Just lost another Puma in the south.
Was that just armor piercing from the machine gun finish that off?
Yeah, I think a sticky bomb might have hit it at first, but the Allies are losing their forward HQ.
Ooh, nice Stormtrooper use. Endog, that's the middle player, snuck down to help out his teammate, come in, cutting him off from behind. Very good job there.
Flammenwerfer versus Recoilless, who will win in the middle? Oh man, that's
Oh wow, that is an interesting concept. It looks like the Flammenwerfer wins.
He could have stayed there a second longer and got rid of that. One more shot. That was a mistake. Actually, sacrificing a squad of airborne with Recoilless to kill that wouldn't have actually been that bad of a trade-off. You wouldn't have taken too much of a munitions hit.
Wow, Grenadiers chasing all of the Allied units here in the north. Just chasing them around, killing, the weak ones. They got the AT gun that just got destroyed basically here. And you've got the machine gun and the mortar. That one squad of Grenadiers just ran behind all and killed all of those vulnerable units with nothing to guard them. But definitely kudos to Scampy for getting up there and capping that victory point, because they've lost the south, so that's important. They're still lowering the Axis tickets bit by bit here. And it looks like E-Rock has reconsolidated his position, and a Sta comes out onto the field. Apparently, it's got a reputation for one-shotting AT guns, which I never heard before, but I mean, certainly from this range, it can't possibly miss, can it? I mean, seriously. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
That's there. At least it did manage to kill at that time. And now let's see if it can possibly miss this machine gun squad from here. There's a wall behind it. You have to hit it. Never mind, it missed. But it hit the AT gun instead. Let's see if its next shot, which comes 20 seconds later, does anything. Yes, it actually did kill one guy.
Nice. We have an LMG-42 on the one of the Grenadier squads that's coming down through the center. I'm assuming it's hoping to flank something. It looks like the Axis are, because I think the Allies' attention shifted so much to the north that they lost control in the south because of that. Maybe the southern player had sent something up into the middle, or threw an MG in there, and just the one squad or so that they sent over there was enough. Either that or Pumas are completely overpowered on this map. One or the other.
Ha. Could be. Oh man. This poor half-track is literally dead, but it's somehow limping along.
Munitions point is ours.
We see a Calliope in the north, so that's going to allow the Scampy to make a good comeback into this, as long as it doesn't walk into any more mines. As you can see, the other half-track in the north must have been destroyed by one, because it's right next to two mine explosion spots.
Yeah, Belgium Riflemaker has two Stas on the field right now, so we're going to see some Sta ownage. He has no fuel, so I mean, what else is he going to do, right?
Good question, actually. I mean, at least there's that. And wow, this AT gun took 2 direct shots from a Calliope from the front, and it has like 5% damage or less. This is not very good Calliope micro, unfortunately, because he's... See how it's turning it's turning very slowly? If you do it correctly now, it's moving a little bit better. And a nice one shot at the end! That actually gives him time to stick around and do some damage, but instead he's leaving. Okay.
Let's see. We have MP44s on the Stormtroopers. They were just there in the south. Where the hell did they go? Yeah, there they are.
Are they camoed?
MP40. No, they're by the Stas. You can't see them. They're by the strap point by the southern player's base, and we do have a Panzer Command coming out. So
that actually wasn't a bad move at all. He was a little too far away for that Calliope barrage in the center. Wow! There's a firestorm in the north. You know how I knew? Because I heard this on the radio, my guys going, "Ah!" Shit, that's really distracting. Another Calliope in the north as well. The Scampy has really made a comeback here in the north, ever since being pushed back very early by Mardgun. So he's done his team a big service here. He needs to take this fuel point ASAP, though. Even if he uses that machine gun squad, just take this fuel point. You need it. Because you've got been pushed back on all the extra fuel that they had in the past.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no. A grenade right in the middle of 2 squads. Oh, man. That was harsh.
It's just ridiculous.
Nuclear pineapples on the field.
Pretty much.
Here comes the Puma. The Puma should have charged in first here. I don't know why these guys had their infantry charge in where there's machine guns and a machine gun nest.
Oh, that's just a death trap. You let Allies get what they have there right now.
Is there an AT gun? There it is. Okay.
There's an AT gun. I mean, there's recoilless. There's MGs. You got a mortar. You have an MG emplacement. I mean, oh my God. That position's pretty much impenetrable without a firestorm to just, weaken it quite considerably.
Yeah, they could use a good firestorm right here that could take out that AT gun, which is very low, plus some airborne, at least some of them.
Yeah, this is a great map for airborne, and it's a good map for armor company. I guess infantry company could have its uses with safe pass deployment and with riflemen being able to put defensive structures down if the northern player, like in this particular game, they started out with the barracks. If they decide to go infantry company, some early wire can actually do some wonders on this map.
Moving! We got contact!
Be interested to see how they crack that center position. Looks like the studs are actually doing quite a good job.
Wow, where did they got the AT gun killed early. It didn't have much health, so that wasn't very hard.
Flammenwerfer coming in. Or not, going to the south.
Well, they've got the south under lockdown now. I mean, there goes the sticky. Wow, that was a lucky... No, that was probably... Oh, the airborne finished it off. They got the actual thing. Sticky went off. Oh, no, that was a satchel charge. Wow, I'm not even... all here today. That was definitely a satchel charge. If you get your tank killed by a satchel charge, you deserve to lose. Seriously. Satchel charges take like 7 seconds to go off for some ridiculous time. Get your tank out of there. You got to pay attention when you're fighting, man. What is this tank backing into the zone for? This Stug is having some trouble, but it turned around just in time to have another airdropped AT gun firing at it. Good job. He's retreating it, which is good. But I don't think it's going to be enough because it's got a damaged engine. Nice mortar into the enemy's position there on that bridge. As long as he can defend it, that's a good position. Unfortunately, it's getting hit from both sides and counter-mortared. Or something. I don't know. Yeah, it was a counter-mortared completely. How much damage does this bridge take now before it actually collapses
another
on
mortar
itself?
just went down. That's the joys of Tier 2 versus Weapon Support Center, the mortar wars. But I'm not quite sure what they were trying to accomplish there, except for the fact that that was the only VP that's not under their control right now. So I guess they were just trying to consolidate and get that fuel and make a small push. But seriously, with the amount of stuff that they lost going in there, wow, that's going to give allies a big manpower advantage at this point. Axis does not have very much on the field. I think it might be safe to say they're a little bit overstretched. And, oh man, we have upgun Shermans. Is that 2 upgun Shermans in the south? Holy crap. But we have a Tiger.
Wow.
Yeah, but 1 Tiger against 2 upgun Shermans.
They've got to start maneuvering those Shermans and get them around the back. There we go. Okay, he's moving it. Okay.
Enemy unit.
Very nice. He's going to be able to get a lot of rear shots if he pushes around the side here. And he's got a sticky onto the Tiger. That's exactly what he needs. He's done a lot of damage now. He might get out of this one. Kill the Tiger. He's got another shot. Uh-oh. We've got stormtroopers behind it, but he's not got them upgraded with Panzerschreck, so the Sherman's going to survive here. And he's got repairing on it. That's good, but he needs to he probably should have backed it up a little bit before this and got the Tiger to attack his other tank. That's the key. If you have 2 tanks and your opponent has 1, when one of your tanks gets low, back it off and force your opponent to either chase that one or and get shot in the rear every time by your other tank, or at least start firing at your fresh tank while you repair the old one. He got it, all but barely, but he did get it. And then an AT gun finishes that off. Tanks are not friendly on this map, apparently. All tanks destroyed. All tanks destroyed.
That was really shocking that those 2 Shermans did not take out that Tiger. I guess it's because...
Well, they did.
No, well,
earlier,
technically they did. Yeah, I meant like a lot faster. I think that because if you look at the positioning that the carcasses are in, they were not getting rear shots off. And
yeah,
that's what they really needed.
They were getting the side shots, which do a little more damage, but not the amount that a rear shot will.
Right. I mean, unfortunately, there just was really no way to flank that. If he would have tried to flank it, I think the Tiger could have just backed up a little bit. And
yeah,
I think both teams have played this game pretty well. There's been a lot of on a map like Montherme, it's kind of hard to tell when the real big shifts happen, but I've seen 3 or 4 big shifts already in this game, and we'll see. We have manpower blitz was used to get that Tiger, I think. So he did go assault, manpower blitz, stormtroopers, urban assault, armored assault. So he has everything but blitzkrieg right now. N-Dog we're talking about on the blitz tree.
All right, so we're about 30 minutes into this game, and it looks like we got about 20 more. Let's see, which is actually weird because we've still got so many victory points. It looks like somebody must get a huge advantage here sometime in the near future. And I think it's probably going to be the Axis. Because I don't see any more tanks on the Allied side. They lost both of their Shermans there. We could definitely see some tanks coming out for the Axis, and that can make a big difference. And if Mardigan pushes on the north again, they're going to be in good position. Once they crack this center, I think the Axis are going to be in much better position here. There goes the house. Wow.
Allies seem to have to rely on what they're relying on in the center. MG emplacements, recoilless, paradropped ATs, everything to basically hold off the infantry and anti-tank outside of, say, tanks. Because Shermans just cost way too much fuel for this map to support, and Stugs cost, what, about half as much fuel, so they can be spammed, although... And this is a great map for Stugs because it's not real easy for them to get circled.
Yeah.
Because there's so much... so, I mean, I really think it's an Axis-friendly map just for those reasons, but we'll see exactly how this plays out. Allies have done a pretty good job.
Uh-oh, 2 exposed AT guns in the south. 2 airborne squads chasing them. Here comes the first grenade, second grenade. Say goodnight. That AT's crunched. Next one's going down. Not good positioning. You never want to leave your AT guns like that out and exposed. He's got an Ostwind, but it's out of position to protect him. It's too far away. It's going to be missing too many shots.
Yeah, Ostwinds are a great counter for Rangers, not necessarily the best counter for airborne. But then again, it's still a pretty good counter. Wow, that's a triple veterancy squad. I really hope he doesn't lose that.
Yeah, with recoilless
Nice
nonetheless.
cross
But here
holders.
comes a nice cross. That's actually what he might need to break into the center. Low suppression, massive infantry killing power. If he could break that into the center, get this machine gun firing at something else over here, break the Knight's Cross in there, and he could just clean it up. No question. Knight's Cross will clean that whole center up. And he's got tanks as well. He's got a Panzer IV and a Stug that he could come at from the main area.
2 Tigers in the south, followed by a Panzer IV and a... Oh man, this is really... They're going to make a big push on the southern
I can't
players'
believe
base
that
right
Tiger
now.
just got killed. I didn't even see it die. It's just... I mean, I saw it die. I didn't even see it get hurt. But he just sort of walked straight into...
An AT gun.
Yeah.
Are you on the Axis position right now?
No, I'm looking at the Allies in the south.
Allies. Okay.
Wow, there's lots of stuff in the south. He's got 2 Knight's Cross. Here comes the Tiger. Easily could one-shot that AT if he gets lucky. But he's backing off to go after the Sherman here. Maneuvering these tanks behind the other Sherman. Actually doing plenty of damage. He can do plenty of damage to this infantry. They got no AT over here. Problem is he's maneuvering his tanks too much. And as a result, bombing run. Boom! Very nice bombing run. Not often do you have a bombing run that actually manages to destroy a tank, much less hit what it's supposed to, but that was very good. Actually worthwhile. Actually, you know, I see plenty of people doing bombing runs that are worthwhile, and I try to figure out how they do it, and I don't understand.
A long time ago, I tested with Aniketos. Is it possible for Ostwinds to actually kill tanks? And we built like 10 Ostwinds and it was a 2v2 on McGeegan's and against a Sherman, and it is possible because 10 Ostwinds, yeah, I mean, you know how long it would take one Sherman to take out 10 Ostwinds, but it is possible for an Ostwind to actually 10 Ostwinds to take out one Sherman if you're continuously getting rear shots. It does a tiny bit of damage, like 1% damage, not even. That just reminded me of that because the Ostwind was shooting at the Sherman in the south. So enough about my lame stories, right?
Oh no, another well-placed mine in the middle by the Allied side this time. He's going to take out that machine gun emplacement, and that's going to open it up for a lot of his Knight's Cross to come in one side or the other if he actually gets the shot. Oh no, he's shooting at the mortar instead, which also is important. I don't know why he's backing off. Oh, there is an AT gun there. Never mind, I'm sorry. I didn't see it.
And we were talking about that all-important strat point that can be decapped and cut off the whole map. The only exception to the rule when that happens is if the opposite team controls the center point and has it linked from the southern base. There have been some threads on the forums about, like, there's no link to the northern player's base. How was I getting the resources from this? Well, that's because there was a link to one of the player's bases, and that's all you really need.
Yep. Here comes an Oswin doing a fantastic job. Now they've completely removed everything in the middle except for one MG squad. And looks like a single AT gun here. And a machine gun position. But they could easily push in with some of their tanks if they had. They still got a Stug down there. I think the southern player doesn't have enough Pioneers. Does he have any Pioneers over there repairing?
Not that I see, no. He uses Pioneers to man the AT gun.
That's an okay idea, but I wouldn't do it, because then you only get 2 instead of 3, so the first kill means the AT gun dies.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out, but he really doesn't have any anti-tank, so I think he really needed to do that. I mean, he has a Stug, but... Oh, another thing, it's a Stug.
That's right.
Stug, Volks, Wehrmacht, there, I said it. Some people have been nitpicking about that recently, and it's all good.
Infantry squad.
Never mind. Okay, so we've got actually an assault in the north by Scampy. Mardgun is nowhere to be found. I think he's helping out the middle, which is how they managed to push that back so much. And he's just going to flank around behind this AT gun if he can, and doing that would open up the middle completely. I mean, it is already opened up. There's nothing left guarding it. This Ostwind cleared out all the infantry there. All they have to do is waltz in and take that point, and it looks like that's what they're doing now. 2 Knights Cross, ready to charge. Here they go. Let's see how fast it takes them to take out the AT gun. From the front, no less, it's gone.
Can we talk about the imbalance of Montherme if Axis starts in the left? Look at the Grenadiers and the Airborne, where they are right now. Do you see all those wrecks, Bridger? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wrecks?
Yes.
Imagine the Axis starting out on the left side of the map and having all that available to them to salvage from basically the first minute of the game.
Oh, really? Yeah, I see, okay. I
posted about that a long time ago, and people basically said it's not imbalanced, or that if they spend the time with like one Pioneer salvaging all that basically that's not imbalanced, that they can do that. Which is another reason why I don't think Relic ever meant to implement random start locations as a standard, but we're somehow forced to do that, because they obviously did not take things like that into consideration. We're not talking about 1 or 2 wrecks, we're talking about 6 huge wrecks that give like 100 munitions or more each.
That is a point. And the south has been overwhelmed. We got a Tiger, 2 Tigers in the south, one shooting the other one in the ass, though. That's not good. And it looks like the north, we've got an army of Pioneers by Mardgun annihilating these barred infantry. I mean, if you got bars, suppress the hell out of them. Come on, just turn around and suppress. But instead, he's just getting flamed to death here. All those guys dying, on fire. Not happy times. So we've lost the south and the north. KP says GG. He knows it's over.
Or
even though we're sort of tied in terms of points, I think it is.
we got a quitter. We got a quitter.
Boo.
KP just quit. Boo.
Boo.
That's
I mean, they have 700 points to make a comeback from, and they didn't. Well, they did lose that with it, and they did. Yeah, okay, it's pretty bleak at this point.
Germans are seizing territory from us.
Wait a minute. You got a quad 50 half track in the north, and you let Pioneers with flamethrowers knock you over? What's that about?
Hey, it happens.
I know it does. I'm just saying.
Krauts are grabbing our territory.
Let me see. Stormtroopers here in the middle. Oh, another mine position here in the south by, who is this? Iraq. Oh, excuse me. Oh.
Supply lines
And it looks like Iraq.
territory out of supply.
Actually, no, probably the northern player Scampy got the manpower bonus from KP leaving.
Look alive!
Unfortunately, the entire team is only getting plus 8 munitions, and somehow they're getting plus 5 fuel. I don't even know where.
They get plus 5 fuel from their HQ.
Oh, they do? That's right. And we got 2
Yeah.
HQs. That's why he's got that. Okay.
Yeah. Knights Cross taking a grenade in the south, don't even lose one man, but they lost, both squads lost a third of their health. Now, should the most powerful infantry in the game lose a third of their health to one grenade? I don't really know.
They are. Oh man, you've got a Sherman taking on a Tiger head-on in the south. That can't be good for the Sherman. And look at this kill zone.
Race? 'Cause I didn't see a Tiger race.
I see a Tiger race right now assaulting the middle Allied base. One shot, 3 dead soldiers, and I bet another one when these guys are retreating kills 2 more. No, he's not going to have the turret around in time. Yes, he is! There goes 1. Are you okay, son? Does it hurt? Oh man, he looks petrified.
Unit down.
Okay, I'm gonna come back here. The game's pretty much over at this point. The score's exactly tied right now, but Axis, I'm sure, are going to take the northern. Iraq quit. Okay, so that means it's basically over.
So it's all down to Scampy, and we're going to see, like, this crazy, I don't know, Calliope spam from hell. And
I guess he's got plus 541, so he can spam a Calliope every minute. or a Pershing every 2 minutes.
I want to see a Calliope spam from hell come back, and then I can finally say the Calliopes are overpowered.
Slowly and steadily finishing this game. You know, I'm going to help it. I'm going to jump up to 2x here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2x. We'll see how this ends shortly. Stug missing time and time again at infantry. Typical. Taking out a base that can't even produce anything. That's a good idea. Here comes a Tiger from N-Dog at the north. That's going to be GG. They got no AT in this whole squad. Plus 2 Knights Cross to guard the Tiger.
Who was the player that stuck around and didn't quit? Let's see here. Scampy, you are the man.
Yes. Morgan says nice. Those guys... 2 Knights Cross and a single Tiger took out like a gajillion guys right there. I don't even know how to count.
Not much to say. Death and destruction, death and destruction.
And a Pershing came out. He finally used his power. He can call in another one here in a couple seconds. And it looks like he's going to be able to do it. He's got an AT gun over there, too. Tiger's gone, but this pretty much doesn't matter. I mean, let's look at what happened overall. We saw a big push in the north most of this game by the Allies. And, I'm sorry, by the Axis. Wow. We saw a big push in this game by the Axis in the north, and they held it for most of the beginning of the game. Scampy was able to come back once he got Calliopes. That helped him push back into the north. The middle was almost always held here by the Allies with lots and lots of AT and infantry cover from both sides, and the south was heavily pushed in the Allied side. What do you think was the big turning point? The Allies held the south and the middle completely for a very long time.
Well, in the end game, it was the Tigers. Really, there's just no direct counter that the Allies can have for that unless they all went armor company. I didn't really see anyone. I think 2 players went blitz, 1 went terror, so we had mass Tigers in the end, which allowed for pushback. Also, Pumas in the south, just the spammability of them, I think that really helped out. In the north, like you had mentioned, the Allies, once they got Calliopes and their motor pool units out, were able to make a little bit of a push. Just, I guess, the natural progression of the way that the game goes kind of switched the fronts around pretty naturally, I would say. What you would kind of expect. But
I actually expected a lot more AT guns from the airborne squads in the middle and south. I think we only ever had like max 2 of them on the field there in the south, and they had that for a long time. And you'd expect, you know, when Tigers are going to be showing up, you got at least a couple of AT guns waiting for them, like a couple more than a couple. I mean, like, you know, 2. I hear a V1. Let's slow this down at the end for the V1. For the finish, boom! And that would be the destroyed hulk of whatever was there. Trying to produce engineers at a time like this is not something you want to do. But yes, the Allies held a supreme advantage in the south, but I think the main critical error they had was they did not produce enough anti-tank stuff for when Tigers came. And I think they did have some good mine placement, but the amount of time that they held this southern area, not only this section here all the way up towards the enemy's base, but also the middle section here, they could have had mines laced throughout the whole thing, and that would have slowed down any kind of attack with any kind of Tigers. Because a mine into a Tiger completely negates it and allows you to push forward with ATs and finish it off before it turns around, before it can get past you. So I think that was one of the major critical errors, is a lack of major mine usage in the south, since they held it so long, and a lack of AT guns there in the south as well.
I would definitely agree on that. I think there could have been more mines. It seemed like the Axis were the only ones that really had used the mines, and that was in the north, i.e. what happened to the M8. I think the half-track also ran over one of them. It just seems like the east side of it just has it easier for some reason in the north. I don't really know why. I think it comes down to that what I was talking about, but talking about it before we actually started this, was that on the western side there's only one really avenue of approach to the north, and you have to kind of come and break out from there. Otherwise you have to come from the direct middle, whereas Axis, or the eastern side, has like 5 avenues of approach, and well, I guess one is better for the defense. They have to, it's a lot harder for them to perhaps hold that, since you have all your guys going through there, but at the same time it kind of forces you to come out from one area, and maybe that's what contributed a little bit in the beginning to the Axis being able to solidify some gains up there. But yeah, I don't know. I think both teams played it pretty well. It's just, like you said, some more ATs, consolidating a defensive position a little bit better, and then once they had made gains, lay down some mines and hold it. But I didn't really see too many observation posts going up for the Allies. That might have also
hurt them, yeah.
Another bit, yeah.
Considering how many OPs we had early for the Axis, that allowed them to get a good chunk of extra resources by the end. Because remember, an observation post, when you place it in a team game on a low munitions or low fuel, that's not just +3. That's +3 per teammate. So overall, that gives them +9 for this one fuel point that they put an OP on. So that's equivalent to putting an OP on a high fuel point in a 1v1, almost equivalent. Because you go from 16 to 26 on a high munitions or a high fuel, and in a team game, when you place it on a light in a 3v3, it's +9. So it's almost as good as a high fuel point.
Yeah, Montherme and Lorraine, as far as fuel goes, both those maps only have +5 fuels, so I would recommend definitely putting an early observation post up on the fuel points whenever you can consolidate it, because it does give your team a huge advantage in the long run, especially if you do it early enough and can solidify some form of a position and use your resources later on to make a big push for victory.
Alrighty, well that ends this week's video replay review. Hopefully by next week we'll be talking about patch 1.5. We'll see how that happens. For Vittensby and myself, Bridger, I will be logging off here. You have been listening to the Team Sportscast Network, brought to you by Typefrag.com and Insomnia365.com. Go to Typefrag.com for all your Ventrilo hosting needs. Typefrag.com has Ventrilo servers from 5, 10, up to 200 user Ventrilo servers. So if you've got a massive WoW guild, that might be something you want to consider. Or just a bunch of friends, if you're a very social person. Also, go to Insomnia365.com for all of the awesomeness that is first-person shooter games. You got Battlefield 2, you got Battlefield 2142, the one that just came out. You've also got Quake 4, Half-Life, all kinds of games available at Insomnia365.com. Game server hosting for you, your friends, your clan, whatever you need. Insomnia365.com, dedicated game server hosting. Check it out. So, thanks everybody watching Tales of Heroes number 19. We'll be back next week, next Sunday, with another episode.
TSN, the Team Sportscast Network.
This broadcast is copyrighted 2006 by the Team Sportscast Network. Any copying, reproduction, redistribution, modification, rebroadcasting of any kind or any manner is expressly prohibited without the written permission of the Team Sportscast Network, LLC.